Hello there folks, my name's Ben and welcome to another Shots Fired Airsoft video, and today I welcome you to the shithole / man cave. Today we're here to do the firing test of the Golden Eagle 5.1 Hi-Capa that we unboxed in the last video, and I'd just like to say that it's actually been really good fun. It's got a lot of kick to it, and I didn't really have any malfunctions with the gun. Did have a slight breakage, and actually I'll show you that in a minute. If I just pop the gun out. Now, when we weighed this, it was about 1 kilo, and it does feel nice and weighty in the hand. My only real complaint about it is we do have quite a lot of rattle and wiggle, which is kind of the thing with these sort of big metal slide pistols. Obviously we're talking quite a lot of weight sliding backwards and forwards. There's a lot of metal on metal parts in there. The outer barrel also floats a lot. It's kind of standard for the Hi-Capa. It's just a noisy pistol. It almost makes more mechanical noise than it does sort of gas noise when it fires. However, you'll see that in the shooting test. Now, the hop in this, my experience with the hop is actually quite good. I've heard a few people say that it's a bit sort of inconsistent, it needs work. However, this will range out a 2.5 BB that I was using way past 50 meters, and for me, for a sidearm, that's more than enough. I had it set over hopping, so it would get about 40 meters up there and start lifting. And I think you could run 2.8s, maybe even 3s in this. I don't have them to hand to try. I didn't bring my 3.6s with me, so we couldn't like extreme test it. But I actually found it to be quite good. Chrono footage, I'll be absolutely honest with you, I've left my chrono at home today, which is really annoying. However, I'm going to film that a bit later and I'll put it in now. But my distinct impression is that this, based on the transit time between the gun and the target that I'm used to from firing this sort of 18 meter range that I have, is that it's quite potent. I think it's definitely over 300 FPS, although Q footage of it being like 270 or something. But my distinct feeling with this is it's about 300, maybe 310, 320, which is quite impressive. It's not warm today at all. And its gas efficiency is kind of so-so, sort of standard full metal Hi-Capa. So you're looking at like a mag and a half, realistically, in this cold. And it is, I don't know if you can see my breath, but I can. So we're not talking about a warm situation to work in. The other thing I tested with this is WE mags, and these work perfectly fine. So if you have WE mags, and by extension Tokyo Mirai mags for Hi-Capas, they will work in this. It feeds fine. Indeed, I'll label the firing tests, but I think two of the firing tests were done with WE mags, and 2 were done with the standard mag that came with the gun. Just before we get into the firing test, I will just show you a little breakage that I had. I'm not going to remove the base plate because the follower piece, the follower sort of stay at the bottom, that is also the catch for the base plate and the magazine, actually broke on me. Now it did suffer a slight drop. That you can see, it may not focus on it, I can't see the camera at this point. There is a little mark there. It fell about 2 or 3 foot onto the concrete, and I thought it was okay. When I popped the base plate off to have a look, the follower shot out and the spring flew out. And what it did is, there's a tiny little piece of plastic. I don't know if you can see that, if the camera will focus on it. If not, I'll find out later when I'm editing. But if not, essentially there's a tiny little plastic tooth that holds that in place on one side. And when it hit that, it broke it off. So essentially the mag and the spring, the mag follower and the spring are held in place by the base plate now. The little retainer for the base plate is still in there and it's still fine. The mag still works. You just have to be careful because if you pop the base plate off, then this assembly can actually fall out the bottom now. But it still works perfectly fine. But it's just something to bear in mind, that it's never a good idea to drop a gas mag, especially one that's heavy, onto the floor. A direct hit on the base plate is usually the best place to take it because they're plastic and you do get a bit of shock absorption. You definitely don't want to go dropping it on the feed lips because they'll snap off. And also, like, you don't want to start chunking edges of the magazine off because obviously it relies on that for your mag catch and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's the only real breakage or issue I had with it. But this mag, I say, it is fine, it does still work, so it did survive a drop. Right, firing test. Initial firing test was all over the shop, and it's not really a surprise. I fire these guns pretty much brand new out the box. Often you need to put a few shots through them to get them to settle down, get the hop to settle down, allow the silicon oil from the charge in the mag, sort of the green gas, to get up and into the gun. And once you kind of find a purpose, so once you find a level with it, it's all good. I didn't adjust the hop at all with this. I left it as it was and just kept firing. So this first test, like I say, all over the shop. The second firing test got better. We were on the target a lot more. I learned a bit more about the pistol, about shooting it. It does have quite a lot of kit, so it's quite difficult to lose your zero between shots, particularly when you're doing like just target shooting like this. Not so much an issue when you're shooting at someone in the game because they're very rarely standing still, so it's not like you're there just kind of like trying to shoot in the same place every time you move, and you kind of have reactionary shots almost. At least I do in CQB, don't know about anyone else. So the second test is a lot better. You can see we're getting on that target. I say I'll note at the top whether it's a WE mag or the standard mag, but there's very little difference in performance. And the Chrono will have WE and normal in, but you'll have already seen that anyway. So the next phase is the third shooting test and the fourth, which I'm going to stitch together because by this point we are getting pretty good on the target. I mean, obviously people's standards of accuracy differ. I've been told by people that this isn't especially accurate, but for me it's accurate enough. If you're going, say, target shooting, or you're using this for like speed shooting competitions or anything like that isn't an airsoft game, then yeah, you might have high standards of accuracy, but for me this is enough to be very usable in the game. And like I say, I would say that the standards of accuracy further out are going to be pretty good as well, because I say I'm firing at about 18 metres and this is quite comfortable at that kind of distance. And it's also, I say 18 metres is enough for a hop if it's crap to really sort of ruin your accuracy. 10 metres isn't, but 18 is, it's quite a lot. So yeah, I'm very satisfied with this. It will be going to a new owner. I'm rebuilding my Dragon 7-inch WE. I did buy this to sort of replace that, however, having stripped it, cleaned it and lubed it the other night, I do feel that the 7-inch is kind of my favourite hand cannon. This is an extremely good weapon, and for £99, it's very nice. I don't really have much to say negative on it. It feels like it's built well. Yeah, okay, she's a bit rattly, but all the big metal Hi-Capas tend to be. TMs aren't, because they're plastic, they don't rattle. So you can forgive a full metal Hi-Capa for that. Yeah, so I don't really have any reservations about it. Like I say, if you have extremely high standards of accuracy and shooting targets, you may find it a bit less accurate than you want, but this looks like it will take most upgrades for things like TMs and WEs. The mags certainly fit, so it may just be down to swapping out the barrel and the hop chamber, in which case you've got a good pistol. I know Steve, Angry Bull, Steve over at Angry Bull, he's got a very good video on these, or several videos on these, about upgrading them. Although he ended up dumping almost as much as the pistol cost again to get it to where he was happy with it. I say I'm a bit easier to please because my thing is based on just picking a target off at CQB and firing, and if you hit them, you hit them. If you don't, well, usually they'll be on cover again immediately, so you're not like resetting your shot. But yeah, very enjoyable gun. Not the end of the world dear for a lot of the, it looks trick. To the uninitiated, this could be a £300 something or other. I'd really enjoyed using it. So that's been another Shots Fired Airsoft video. I've been Ben. I have a double Eagle M904 Falcon Fire coming, which is essentially the programmable trigger MOSFET and trigger setup M4, sort of like the shorty one that double Eagle do. It's got a very good name. A lot of people like it. They've become quite well accepted in the hobby now, and they're cheap. And it'd be interesting to see what the performance on that is. So if you want to have a look at all of that, stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Thank you very much, and goodbye.